It's nice to meet you, Khalil. My name is Mike. I'm currently a senior at UC Berkeley, where I'm studying both UX design and also software engineering. Today, it's very great to have you being here. So, can you give us a basic introduction of yourself? What's your name? What's your business? And what's your role in it?
Yeah, great. Well, yeah, Mike, good to meet you. Yes, I'm Khalil. My brief story is that I grew up in Los Angeles and started a handful of companies, started from a pretty young age. My first company was called Learn Fresh, but the product was NBA Math Hoops. We partnered with the NBA and made a fun math game for elementary and middle school students. I ran that for about 7.5 years, grew it to over 1 million students. And then I went back to grad school. And then after grad school, I started a couple of other companies as well. So I started a few niche B2B vertical SaaS companies, one in the construction tech landscape, one in the heavy equipment rental landscape, a few others as well. I started a philanthropic services org called Gift Card Bank that distributed about $90 million to families in need. Now I'm actually a venture capitalist where I work with a lot of young and like up and coming founders at the really early stage of their journey. And so today I'm a partner at this VC firm called Pear, but I'm also the chairman of the nonprofit that I started and on the board of a couple other things. I think there's a combination of skills that you develop and experiences that you have that might kickstart ideas or areas that you're curious to work in. And so like, I think the skills that I've layered on over time, again, I started my first company when I was 18, when I was a freshman. And so I've been layering these for a while, but I also grew many of them in academic settings, both in undergrad and in grad school, where I did my MBA and a master's in education as well. I mean, some of these core skills are around a meta core skill around communication, a meta core skill around sales. I think so much of life is sales, whether it's recruiting some talented person to come and work with you, raising funds from an investor, actually getting a client, like all these things are kind of, they all are pretty similar to this broad like sales skill set. I think like customer empathy that you develop over time is this really critical thing to be an entrepreneur. Like you have to both love your customer and you need to be able to, like, you need to really be able to understand them, not just what you think they want, right? I think that so many entrepreneurs are trying to shove something down people's throats and they're not actually just listening to what the market's telling them. Very tangible example, during COVID, I was volunteering at a local food bank just because I wanted to do something to help out. And I talked to a lot of these families and I heard that they were so appreciative of everything they were receiving from the food bank, but then they were also having to stop by, Walmart or Safeway on the way home and get the rest of the essentials for life, or get things that they couldn't get in that box of food, maybe culturally sensitive foods or things for specific diets. And I said, wow, like, this is interesting. Not rocket science here, but what if we just gave people a gift card so they can go get the rest of the things they need for life in addition to the box of food they're getting? And so that ended up sparking this whole nonprofit called Gift Card Bank, where we work with grocers to help give gift cards to low-income families. And so I think you have these, and then in order to make that happen, I had all my sales skills of going to Albertsons and convincing them to partner with us and this, that, and the other, getting people to come and work for me, all that. And so I think you have these skills that stack up, and then you have experiences that may spark ideas to go and build companies around. So I guess I shared a little bit about Gift Card Bank. That was a nonprofit. Maybe one of the for-profit ones that I was involved in the founding of is this company called Quiply. And so this company, Quiply, is a software tool in the heavy equipment rental industry. And so heavy equipment rental is, think if you're a contractor and you need to rent a crane for a construction project or something along those lines. The way that market is set up is that there are 3 really big companies, United, Herc, and Sunbelt, and they have cumulatively maybe 40% of the market share. And then you have this long tail of what they call like mom and pop equipment rental companies. So there's like 10,000 of these equipment rental companies, and they might have, a big lot or a big warehouse and a couple dozen to a couple hundred pieces of equipment. And it's night and day difference in how the big dogs run their companies, and the small mom and pop equipment rental companies. And so the big ones, they have a, like an Airbnb-like checkout process where you can see the inventory, you can select it, you can upload all your insurance documents, et cetera, et cetera. And the small guys, they're kind of like access your purchase order. They're kind of like they're working in the dark ages. And so we uncovered this problem through being curious about this specific area. And so we got to know the market in that way. We ended up building this piece of technology that's basically the tech of the big guys for the little guys. And then we go and we sell it kind of individual shop by individual shop. What we found is that many of them are really old school. The old software was kind of like what they call like an old school ERP, enterprise resource planning software, where these people, they could see all of their, again, cranes, all of their whatever construction equipment they had, and they could click and they could say, oh, this one's getting rented, this one's getting rented next week, et cetera, et cetera. But they didn't really have a beautiful user experience online for the actual renter, the contractor, the construction manager, whoever that may be, to be able to browse available inventory, see all the details for it, et cetera. And so our very specific narrow wedge into that market was the best-in-class online rental system. So that was that. And our go-to-market strategy was actually, in the beginning stages, kind of geographic specific. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to saturate little micro geographies. It's really cliche, but I think that grit is still underrated. I think that most things are hard. It's very rare that you're going to have an idea, you're going to have the first version of it that you bring to life, and the world loves it and it becomes Google, right? Like that just doesn't happen. And so, the first 2 years of Quiply were really tough. And so grit, I think, is still the biggest factor. One thing that I would tell myself going back, honestly, and this not to be such a boomer or whatever, but I would tell myself to enjoy it a little bit more. I'm so goal oriented. I'm always so forward looking. And now I look back at the things that I've accomplished. I'm very proud of the things that I was accomplished as an entrepreneur before I kind of became an investor. But I didn't really savor those moments. And so really, savor the wins. If you get that first customer, if you get a new hire that comes on board, you hit a big revenue milestone, like really soak it up, because these moments are going to be the things that hopefully you cherish for a lot of your life. And sometimes now I'm seeing that more and more as I'm kind of looking back at my entrepreneurial career.